The Art of Sculpting Your Business podcast is sponsored by The Hive. The Hive is a small business resource center designed to support an innovative and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Virginia Beach. The Hive offers mentorship, networking, and a variety of fundamental resources to those who need them. The Hive, where businesses thrive.
Hello, and welcome to Series 2, Episode 4 of The Art of Sculpting Your Business, a series dedicated to highlighting resources, tools, and tips designed to drive innovation and growth. We are your hosts, Lavera Tolentino and Sheila Johnson. In today's episode, we will talk about business planning with the NSU Innovation Center. We'll learn about the many services and resources that the NSU Innovation Center offers and outline next steps for those that may be interested in taking full advantage of the Innovation Center's resources. Our guest today is Dr. Rhonda Alexander, the Executive Advisor of the NSU Innovation Center. And Dr. Alexander is also an alumni of Hampton University. She's a serial entrepreneur, global consultant, NSU faculty. She's an author and an entrepreneur coach.
She's everything.
Yeah, her work with businesses around the world spans for more than 25 years. And I'm telling y'all, you can't see her, but she doesn't look more than 25 years old. So she must have started at birth.
Thank you.
I think so.
So, Dr. Rhonda, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. And we're just going to go ahead and start. Sheila's going to start us off.
Yeah, Dr. Rhonda, thanks for joining us, and let's jump right into it.
Sure.
What is the innovation or the NSU Innovation Center?
So the NSU Innovation Center is NSU's or Norfolk State University's endeavor to communicate or to connect with the community at large in terms of entrepreneurship, to educate, to create community, to provide resources to underserved entrepreneurs in Hampton Roads. And so we have been in business since March of 2019. And since that time, we have really had the opportunity to meet lots and lots of different kinds of founders and business types, but we've been able to serve about 1,500 entrepreneurs during such a short period of time, and that's through courses, workshops, programs. We really do our best to try to bring educational programs to the center that will help people not only learn about business, but to actually be able to launch that business or grow, because not everybody that comes to us is without a business. Some of them actually already have businesses, and they want to know, how do I take my business to the next level? And so we have some programs that we implement kind of off and on, but then we have our signature program called the Incubator Program. And that's when we take promising businesses through a process and teach them to pitch and put them in front of investors and really kind of cultivate them so that they are able to get the kinds of resources they need to grow.
Oh, that's exciting. The Incubator Program, I just want to piggyback off of that for a second. How does one qualify, or what's the criteria to be selected to be part of the Incubator Program?
So the Incubator Program takes businesses that have not yet started, but they have kind of an idea, the founder has an idea of what they're going to be. So they have to have some things. They kind of have to have their pitch deck, some sort of idea of how they're going to do business, where their money's going to come from, what they're selling, the solution that they're offering, what problem they're solving. So we do have them go through an application process, and we select those that we believe will benefit the most from being able to kind of create financial projections and to actually articulate their business idea to investors. And so we actually have had our clients to get funding from investors I think we're just past the $3 million mark
wow.
for the programs that we've done, for the incubator programs that we've done to date. And our clients are ongoing. I mean, it's not like we sit you in front of investors and, everybody kind of starts throwing money at you, but we teach them how to systematically go after capital and go after resources that are out there for businesses. And so with that and with the support and with ongoing consultations, they're able to raise their own funds, whether from the pitch competitions and accelerators and things that they may be participating in, to bank loans and grants. So we have, the whole gamut of business funding. But I think what we do, our consultants and our team does a really good job of equipping people with the information that they need to be able to pursue those opportunities and then articulate what they do in a very clear way, in such a way that makes investors want to give them money. So I think that's a really important part of it, because one of the one of the things that we hear a lot from investors is that underserved entrepreneurs, i.e. Black and brown entrepreneurs, generally don't have the background. They don't have the lingo. They don't know how to articulate their business solution, excuse me, and they don't know how to say certain things. If I ask you about your churn rate, or if I ask you about your pro forma, they don't know what those terms are. And so they're already at a disadvantage when they walk into the room. They think they have a great idea, and maybe they do, but they don't know how to connect with the people in the room because they don't speak the language.
Right.
And so that's where we start, is leveling the playing field. These are the things that are being talked about in these rooms.
Okay.
I love that
Yeah,
idea.
it's exciting.
I think that's powerful. I think you talked about the resources. Are there some specific resources that you would recommend to an entrepreneur?
For sure. We have now a really robust YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube and search the NSU Innovation Center, we have a pretty impressive library of videos that just are recordings from previous workshops and things that we've done. We have some recordings that we have just kind of, set up for informational purposes, but there's a lot that can be learned about social media marketing and finding your target audience and using the lean canvas business model. And I mean, there are really, really good videos. That's just the freebie, right? And everything is that we do is free. But when it comes to, you have an hour, you want to kind of learn something really quickly, YouTube is a really good way to do that for us. And then we also have the Big Idea program, which is where we teach people to take an idea and decide whether or not, or discover whether or not it's a viable business idea. So as you know, everybody who has a business idea may not necessarily be able to start a viable, sustainable business. So we take them from what we call ideation, which is where you kind of have this business idea, and then we say, okay, can you create a vision and a mission statement? Is this business going to solve a problem? Is it going to answer a question? Is it going to be something that the market actually wants and that they're willing to pay for, that is better than what's already on the market or better than what they're already using? So we teach them, we take them over the course of 6 weeks through that program. And we have some others coming up that we are putting together over the course of the year. And it really is meant to help people kind of step out of just thinking about the business, out of just, planning and I have this idea, should I, shouldn't I? And so we say, okay, here are the resources. Here are the ways you can find out whether or not you actually should. Before you spend a dime, here's how you find out if you should start this business. And so we can take them on through various programs, our customer discovery programs, where we teach them to go find your target market and ask them, do they want this solution and are they willing to pay for it? Before you've made anything, find out if the market wants that. And so we teach them how to do that in those programs.
Wow, that's excellent. That's a lot of great information. One question, Dr. Rhonda, before someone contacts your office, wants to come in for a consultation, would you recommend that they first go to the YouTube channel to sort of learn some things first? What do you recommend? What are those steps?
I really would suggest that they, excuse me, I would suggest that they go to the YouTube channel. I also would suggest that they follow us on social media, because we're always advertising our workshops, what you may not find on social media. What you may not find on YouTube, you may find that we have upcoming in a workshop or some sort of seminar or a series that we may be doing. So social media is a really great way to find out what we're doing. To be on our mailing list is another really great way to find out what might be upcoming that could be useful for your business. And then once you kind of have some background and you kind of feel like you have your fill of the do-it-yourself, right? Then you may be ready to say, okay, I'm ready to do something in person. I'm ready to apply for one of the programs, or I'm ready to reach out and ask for a consultation. So it really does depend on where that person is in their journey, what they feel like they want to do. Because if you're like me, I prefer to dig around on my own before I start asking questions. So I'm one that I'll go to your site and I'll watch a couple videos, because I want to know what I need to know right now, and I don't want to have to interview and wait and ask. But then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I know enough to be dangerous. Yes. Now I really want to develop some expertise, or I need an expert to teach me or to step in and do it for me. And we do have consultants that do that. We have consultants that help to create those financial documents that investors want to see. They want to know, if I give you $450,000, how am I going to get that back? When am I going to get that back? And how much on top of that am I going to get back, right? Because this is not a loan. This is, I want to be able to grow with your business. So if I give you that amount of money, how quickly are we going to grow to the point where I get my original investment back, and then the business is profitable and making both of us money? So we have consultants that help people to create those documents that show the progression and the projections of their finances, what you'll be making in a year, what you expect to make in a year, 3 years, 5 years. And so then you take that to an investor and you say, this is why we think we can make this, because we went out and we tested, we made this many sales, and we believe we can capture this much of the market in a year, 2 years, or whatever. And so if you invest with us, this is what we think we can do. And it's really a negotiation. It's a deal back and forth. But, you need, at some point, you need to know what you don't know, and then you need somebody to help you fill that gap.
Right.
And so we have those resources too.
So let me ask you this. So the investor, does your team help with the negotiations? No, it's between the investor and the entrepreneur at that point? Really
between them. And we do have some consultants that they can kind of, bounce ideas off of and say, hey, what do you think, or whatever. But really we try to equip them in the program, to be able to do that. This is your baby, your business. And so we try to give you all the tools that you need to be successful in those negotiations, but we don't really get involved in that part of it.
So before you put them in front of an investor, how long do they have to be in the program, or is there?
It's 12 weeks.
12 weeks they have to go through it, and then you put them in front of an investor. Now, here's a question I have for you. Now, I have this great idea, and I want to come to you for help. Does your team sign a non-disclosure agreement or NDA? Do you all have to do that? Because, a lot of us won't come to you because we think you're going to take our idea.
Right. And, the crazy thing about it is there have been companies that have done that, like a certain unnamed, two-day shipping company has been accused of taking those kinds, doing pitch contests and then saying, oh, great idea. We have resources and let's make it.
Oh my goodness.
That has happened. So for us, we are willing. We don't have a standard NDA, but we are always willing if the person feels like that's what they need to feel secure and to share. We have kind of this relationship with our team and with the university and with the folks we work with that we are a team of integrity, and in the investment world, it's just a big no-no to talk about.
Okay.
You know, you can just kind of lose your connections if people find out that's the kind of thing you do.
Okay.
So if a client came to me, or if you came to me and you said, hey, you know, I really would feel comfortable if your team would sign off, we definitely would discuss that. And because we're a part of the university, we can't just sign willy-nilly. But we do understand, you know, that confidentiality is a big deal for everybody that feels that they have something
a
that's
great idea.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. And I've seen, you know, people say, well, I need you to sign this NDA. And, you know, somebody else may have the idea and is thinking the same thing they're saying. I'm not sharing it with anybody because I don't want anybody to get my idea. So you find yourself signing that NDA, and then somebody else comes through with the same idea. You could be in, you know, could be in a little fix there. So,
yeah, you could. And, you know, thankfully we haven't had that issue where
Okay.
we have like conflicts of interest, you know, where we're helping someone and it's really confidential here and we can't talk about certain things. I mean, we really don't tie our hands in that way.
That's good.
So the advice that we tend to give is very specific to each person's company, but they get to work with a consultant that they trust. So when we talk about things in a group setting, they're more generalized.
Right.
And then when you're talking specifics, you're usually kind of in a, you know, one or two consultants with the founder, with the entrepreneur. So we do try to be sensitive about the fact that, you know, it's your baby and you don't want to just have it all out there.
I think that was a great question there.
Yeah. Safe, being in a safe space.
Oh, for sure.
And finding that confidentiality, that helps people feel comfortable, especially those entrepreneurs. I'm sorry.
I have one other question.
Okay.
Dr. Rhonda, you had mentioned that the Innovation Center has a number of consultants to support this effort. How many consultants are available?
So it varies. We partner with the SBDC. We partner with some of the consultants that work with some of the other like small business resources that are local. So we really, depending on the program, we may go and pull consultants that we just work with and just say, would you be willing to work with this program with us and work with some of our entrepreneurs? So even some of the local organizations and other businesses, we'll go and pull them if we know that they consult, and helping entrepreneurs is something that they do. They usually give us a kind of a discounted rate. And consider the rest kind of a donation or part of their service back to the community. And so they come in and they work with our clients for those programs and give them that level of expertise that they would give if they were consulting with their own client. And I think that's super, super important because, again, when you're talking about supporting underserved, money is a huge issue.
Yes.
So what we do is we usually subsidize the fee for the consultant. So we pay for the consulting fee, and then the consultant donates part of their time. So the people who are participating in our programs, when they get a consultant, they don't pay, because we want to make sure that they have access to those experts who could be billing at ordinarily, $600 or $700, $800 an hour or more, to really get that expertise. And so I think one of our big points has been in leveling the playing field. We want to make sure that you get access to that too. So we go out and we find, consultants who really are at the top of their game, who really do care about entrepreneurs. As I said, we work with the SBDC, so that we get those experts as well. And really giving the level of education that they need, because it is a short period of time. 12 weeks isn't long to really go from, being on the outside of this ecology to being an active, thriving part of the entrepreneurial space in Hampton Roads.
That's excellent.
Nice. So I want to start a business, and this is the Norfolk State University Innovation Center. I'm not a student at Norfolk State. How can you help me?
Absolutely. So the Innovation Center was created to help the community. We help students as well, but the School of Business actually has an entrepreneurship center for students. So we are the community-facing arm of this. And we have, like I said, we have a lot of students that come and work with us as well. Actually, and have done quite well too. But we would absolutely be able to help you.
Okay.
You don't have to be a student of Norfolk State. You don't have to live in Norfolk. You don't have to be Black. You don't have to be anything except an aspiring entrepreneur. That's it.
That's excellent.
Now, a lot of times when, you're getting some kind of assistance with a program, they ask for you to verify like your income or something like that. Is any of that necessary?
It's not. It's not necessary. We don't do income verification or requirements. We may ask you later down the line, hey, would you mentor? Hey, would you come back and support and help somebody else who is where you were? And we have had people who've been happy to do that, to come back and serve as consultants, to come back and serve as mentors for up-and-coming businesses. So that's really the only payment we ever kind of knock on your door and ask you for is, hey, would you
kind
come
of like
back?
Return the favor.
Would you? Yeah. Would you just kind of help the next set of folks come forward? And that tends to work very well. But we don't have you jump through any hoops. We just ask that you be teachable, that you have certain not credentials, but certain components to your business, and show up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah, and it's free. I mean, that's crazy. So let me ask you this question. Again, we have individuals out there who are very hesitant to come and share their idea. So, me being in the field that I'm in and Sheila being in the field she's in, what can we do to encourage people to come to the Innovation Center? How can we say it's a good place, that your idea is safe with them? Give us some of those key points that we can encourage folks to come and visit you all.
Well, I think that, our publicity, just getting visibility has been one of those things that we have struggled with. We were just talking not long ago that there are people on campus, on Norfolk State's campus, who still don't know that we exist. Now, the organization is a baby still, but I ask in all my classes, hey, do you know about the Innovation Center? And maybe half might not. And so we're still trying to let people know we're here and we want to help you. Right. So anytime you see our content on social media or, if you happen to be, browsing the internet sometime, pop by the website, maybe share a link or comment and interact with some of our content online. That helps to increase some visibility. And certainly, thankfully, we have this opportunity that you all have invited me here to share about the Innovation Center. That helps us to go to the community and tell them, hey, we're around and, we're credible. We actually have helped people. We publish an annual report each year. So we do let the community know what we've been able to accomplish. That should be coming out in April. And it's always exciting when that gets released because it's our report card. It lets us see how effective we've been in the community. So anytime you see our content or our information, if you would share that, if you hear somebody that says they need a resource, just send them to nsuiconmain.org. And that's a really great starting point. And we'll take it from there.
Can you repeat that?
nsuiconmain.org.
Perfect.
And that's our brand. So if you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram, Facebook, and search NSUIC on Main, you're going to find us.
Okay. I mean, I've really learned something. I didn't know that it was I thought it was just for students.
Oh, okay.
And also I didn't know it was free. That's a big plus that it's free.
So I think
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
For me, Lavera, I mean, just the number of resources that they offer, support as it relates to the pitch deck, the incubator program that you mentioned, support as it relates to helping someone to develop their pitch deck, the resources that are available on YouTube, also the Big Idea program that you mentioned. And then when you mention the support that you all have assisted these entrepreneurs with in gaining over $3 million in investments over this time period as well. I don't think many people know that about the Innovation Center.
Right.
And then like Lavera said, I thought maybe there was some cost associated with it. I did not know that all of this was at no cost.
Right.
Yeah.
And so say about those businesses, we call them SWAM business, small women and minority-owned businesses. And, I have a business. I probably had it for about 5 years, but I'm trying to scale it. So what can you do for those businesses? Is it the same kind of thing, or do you have to be a startup or have an idea?
Right. So, no, we have the ability to support them as well. So those are the people that we usually, kind of evaluate. We sit down and we have a conversation about where are you? What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? How can we help you? And then if there's a way that we can match you with a consultant, then we will. And in those cases, because they're not a part of a program specifically, there may be a nominal cost associated with those things.
Okay.
But we usually start out with evaluation, finding out where you are and how we can help. And then if we can find you a no-cost resource, that's what we'll support you with. But if we say, okay, you're going to need an audit, or you're going to need an accountant, or some specialized expertise, then, we look at that and we say, okay, so here's the next step. It's going to probably cost you some dollars here. But at least you've gotten some insight and some information and some support, even though you may not be in the startup phase. You may be in the scaling or kind of evolving phase. You might be pivoting or rolling out new features for your business. We can still support that. It's just most of our pre-designed programs are geared toward startups.
Okay.
But we can offer support for existing entrepreneurs.
Okay. And then the programs are geared towards whether you're offering a service or a good. You can do for the startups. It's either one. It's not just for, okay.
And it's not just tech, because I know one of the things we run into in this space is everybody wants to just talk about the tech folks, which we understand, because the tech folks make the money, right? They're the ones, they're high growth, high impact businesses. And so you can kind of predict if this hits the Apple store, then boom, everybody's going to buy it. And, we're all gajillionaires. But then when you look at, what tends to come out of the underserved community aren't always tech ideas. They're what they call Main Street businesses, restaurants, hairstylists, things of that nature, or their lifestyle brands, T-shirts, hats, beauty, right? And so a lot of times investors, they don't want to deal with those folks because they're not high growth, high potential, but they're viable. They solve a different problem in our community. Our community's problems aren't necessarily, let me sit on the porch and dream a dream. It's, how can I survive? I can't find a job, but I know how to do something. I know how to cook. I know how to fix. I know how to do hair. I know how to braid. And now I have a business. Well, those are viable solutions in our community. And so we're trying to teach both sides how to respect and understand that tech isn't all that we have to offer. That's not the only thing that's investable in our communities. There are hair is investable in our community.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Listen, it is investable, but it takes evolution, because who has generally been allocating investment funds has been a certain demographic.
Right.
So as we evolve that demographic, we start to say, okay, look at something beyond technology, or help us figure out how to innovate in those spaces. How can we integrate technology into this great idea that you have for hair or for makeup or for your restaurant? Like, how can we make that innovative and then make that a high growth business, even though we still call it a Main Street business? How can we use innovation to make that a high growth, high potential business, and not just kind of squirrel it away and go, oh yeah, not another hairstylist, not another set of nails, right? How can we meet in the middle and offer solutions that or fund solutions that are actually solving problems in underserved communities?
So that's a conversation you have with the investors.
Yes.
Saying, come to the table, help us.
Yes.
You know, because we know that this community, this is what they do best. So help us help them fund a business that they can have and thrive.
Right. Because, I mean, a lot of the technology, well respected. I mean, it takes expertise, it takes imaginative thinking to come up with that stuff. But we don't want other ideas to be discounted simply because they're not technology based, they're not apps and software. But that doesn't mean they're not viable. And so when we have these conversations with investors and groups of investors, we want to bridge the gap. Yes, education is needed. We need to be able to talk in a way that makes you feel comfortable investing $100,000, $500,000, millions of dollars. We need to come to the table with a certain mindset, with a certain skill set. Fine. At the same time, you need to come to the table understanding our businesses don't look like everybody else as a community, don't necessarily look like everybody else's. Yes, there are technology folks that come out of underserved communities, and I'm not discounting that at all. But when we look at business as being the solution to a problem or the answer to a question, you have to look at the problems and the questions being asked and, the challenges being faced. That's why our solutions look the way they do. It's community-based. So we try to bring in a little bit of cultural intelligence into the table, so that we kind of create this bridge between mainstream startup, investors who know what they know and have known for 100 years, right? They've invested in the same kinds of business all this time.
Right.
So we want to bring them to the middle, and we want to bring our folks to the middle, and then find a way to be supportive and to increase the amount of investment dollars that Black businesses, underserved businesses are getting, because 2% isn't enough.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you for being at the table.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for providing the education, not only for the investors, but also for the community as well, so that they can understand, why people think the way that they do.
Yeah.
And what you may need to do to be able to tap into those dollars.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
It is very important. And then the pitch competition. So, pitching the ideas and getting the funding and all that is important to a startup. And so let me ask you one more question about that pitch. Do you teach them how to pitch?
They practice.
Oh, they practice.
They practice.
Okay.
And they practice in front of one of our main consultants in the incubator program is an investor.
Oh, okay.
And so he says, these are the things you shouldn't say. These are the things. So he really coaches them through, this is what you need to stand in front of an investor and make an intelligent pitch, a compelling pitch. And so I think that is probably gold for our center, to have someone on the other side of the table that can really mentor and coach you through it and say, these are the components that you have to have. Everybody else is coming to the table with this. So if you want to be competitive, this is what you have to come to the table with as well. So that's very helpful to have, because most people, when they think investment and underserved, they think, I have a great idea, I'm going to go out and get some investors.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. And we don't know that because nobody told us.
Right.
We just hear about it. We think, oh, I'll get a business grant, or I'll, and nobody's coaching us to
Right.
be able to get those
The
things.
process, yeah.
So I'm really glad that we have that component that we can actually prepare people for pitching.
Yeah. So, and we do get calls from time to time about, assistance with startups. And now, I know where to send them. One of the resources, because like you
Absolutely.
said, there are others out there, but this is good information because, a lot of times too, they call and ask, we have folks that say, I need a grant. And I'm like, well, I can't help you. But I know somebody that can. Why don't you do this or do that or do a pitch go and pitch your idea and see if you can get an investor involved in that. Now, can more than one investor invest in that startup?
Oh, for sure. As much as the startup is willing to allow, and it depends on what that investment deal is. So it could be equity, so they may ask for part of the ownership of the business, and the entrepreneur has to decide, how much of my business do I want to give up? How much ownership? It could be in royalties. It could be a loan. I mean, there are lots of different ways. And in fact, we do access to capital workshop every month. So that's something that they could come to and just learn about all of the different options there are to fund your business and how to obtain that funding through the Access to Capital workshop. Because it's not as easy as people want you to think. Oh, you're a Black person and you have a business, get a grant. But even if it were that easy, you still have to know your numbers.
Yes.
You still have to know how much to ask for. And so I often ask people when I'm coaching them, if I handed you a blank check right now, would you even know how much to make that check for? Do you know your number?
Yes.
Do you not? I don't mean for your shoes in your bag, because listen, I have my shoes in my bag number. But if I said to you, hey, I want to fund your business for the next 5 years, what's your number?
Right.
Could you tell me? Or I want to cover some of your costs. How much does it cost you to make what you make? Do you know?
I love leading with that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it causes individual to really think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead
Because
of
we all
saying,
think we want a blank check.
I think I want to,
I want you to hand me your Amex Centurion card.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I want you to do that. But then really, what will you do with it? How will you make the most of whatever I give you as an investor? Right. So it takes you knowing what it costs you to do business. So we think, I want a grant, I want an investor, I want a partner. But all of those people are going to ask you the same questions.
Exactly.
You're right.
What do you do? How do you make money? How are you pre-profit? Are you post-revenue? They're going to be asking these questions. And if it doesn't matter what label the money comes under,
Right.
these are things you have to know. So that's what we try to, that's the mindset we try to open up. It's not just, ooh, I'm making money, but are you making profit? You're selling a widget for 75 cents that it costs you $1 to make.
Right.
Guess what? You're not in a sustainable business because you're losing money. So we've got to be able to teach people how to look at the things that really matter and not get so excited about, I'm an entrepreneur and I made some sales. No, you really need to know.
Did you though?
But did you? You could have stayed at home and lost money.
Yeah.
I tell people that you don't want to break even. You can sit on the couch and break even.
Yeah.
I'm even.
You want to make something.
Right? So you've got to be making a profit, and you've got to make enough so that it's meaningful, not just a couple cents, but it's got to be meaningful. So what are those numbers? So, whether it's a grant or whatever it is, an investment or, just somebody handing you money, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make it make sense? And so I think that's an important part of having that kind of mentorship in our programs.
Okay. All right. And then you said it was your services are ongoing. So you get an investor who wants to invest in your product or service. They can still come to you. That's not the end of it.
Oh no, they're family now. Like once you go through anything with us, you're in.
Oh, okay.
You know,
That's excellent.
yeah. We have folks that we've been working with since the Innovation Center started, and they kind of come and go because you know how business is. You kind of pile it on,
Right.
then you got to go out and make it work.
Right.
See how it lands in your business. Some things will work, some things won't. You come back maybe 6, 9 months, a year, and you say, okay, I tried that, and here's where I am now. This is what I want to accomplish.
Right.
So we kind of see people come and go in cycles, and I like that because then I get to see, how our advice is actually working out in the real world, and what are you learning and coming back and teaching us, okay, we know that doesn't work, or that's a really great program. It's really cultivating leaders and cultivating entrepreneurs. Let's expand it. Let's do more of that, right? So having those ongoing relationships, absolutely vital to us, continuing to do what we do. And then we also get to know, what kind of long-term impact do we have on these entrepreneurs, because we know that in order for a business to make it past the first year, they have to be mentored. To make it past 5 years, they need mentorship and support. So if we can watch you over 3, 5 years, then we can say, okay, what kind of impact are we having long term? Is the mentorship and the support that we are offering these entrepreneurs, is it a difference maker for them? Is it what helped them to get from idea to $1 million, multi-million dollar global conglomerate? Was it, that idea? And we do have a couple of success stories like that. We have a young guy who has a prosthesis. It's a bionic prosthesis. And I believe he's going to do really huge things, but we want to see how he grows. I met him kind of on an accident. I said, come to the Innovation Center. I think we can help you. And what we've been able to teach him and expose him to has opened up doors for him to go on to other accelerators, to be in other pitches, to get investments and to get grants. And so just because we had a little part at that seed phase to kind of open his mindset, that has opened up the doors for him to be able to do the rest of the work.
Right.
But had he not had that, maybe his learning curve would have been another 3 or 4 years as he tried to figure out on his own, because I think he was not too long out of college. So it's nice to be able to follow people long term so that we can see, are we really effective in helping businesses to blossom and be there long term?
That's awesome. So is there another success you can share with us real quick?
Oh, we have so many. One of our students, we have a student team called Championship. They're getting into the online social media betting, like sports betting.
Oh, really?
And I cannot wait for their product to hit. Really excited about them. They're now alums. They've graduated from Norfolk State now, but when I started supporting the Innovation Center, started working with the Innovation Center, they were students and had this really great idea, and we worked with them, and they've been through the incubator program, and every single thing that we do, they show up because they're just, they're hungry.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they are another one. We have several superstars that really are in it for the long haul and are really growing. So, of course, with betting, you got some other hurdles to jump in terms of regulatory stuff and legal stuff. But to see these young people be all in and not just kind of skipping from, what seemed like a great project, or, we're friends, we had an idea, and then it kind of fizzled out. They're still gung-ho, and they're still moving forward. And so when you see an ad on TV or on social for an app called Championship, just go, yes! Because that's one of our teams, and we're super proud of them.
That's
awesome.
exciting.
We'll definitely look for it. Go ahead.
I had one question,
Okay.
Dr. Rhonda. You had mentioned about consultants, right? Is it, do you have to meet with them in person, or is there a virtual opportunity to meet with the consultants?
So both are available.
Okay, perfect.
So you can meet in person, or you can meet virtually, whatever works for your schedule. But we're finding people do like to, now that things are open back up, they do like to have that one-on-one in person.
Good.
All right. Well, Dr. Alexander, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are more than welcome. We appreciate all the information. These resources we will definitely share. We hope our listeners will take advantage of them. But before you go, tell us where the NSU Innovation Center is located and what are the hours of operation?
So the Innovation Center is located in downtown Norfolk on East Main Street, 520 East Main, Norfolk, Virginia. The hours are generally from 9 to 5, but most of the time we prefer that you make an appointment to come by because COVID. But you can always come by. The whole front is glass. So you can come by and see what we're doing and see what's going on in there. But the easiest way to get in touch with us is to just go to the website, nsuiconmain.org. And you can set up an appointment for consultation or see what programs we have going on. And also, as I said before, social media, NSUIC on Main. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think those are the ones. Yeah. Social media is where you can find us. And so that'll give you some insight as to, what we have upcoming in the short term.
Great. Sheila, anything you want to add?
No, nothing to add. I mean, there were so many gems that Dr. Rhonda shared today. I do think with my recap, instead of me recapping, I think I'm going to ask her, what are those 3 things that you would like the listeners to walk away with or to take away today regarding the NSU Innovation Center?
Okay, so the first thing is we exist. The Innovation Center is here. It is available to you, Hampton Roads, and we are available to serve you. That's number 1. Secondly...
Oh, that was 1. Okay. Go, Dr. Rhonda.
Move fast. That's number 1. Secondly, the resources are available. There are resources out there. There are people out there that can support you. And you don't have to feel like you're alone in this whole process of wanting to start a business. And then finally, stop procrastinating. Send us an email. Send us an instant message. Stop by our website. Join a program. Come to a workshop. Stop procrastinating. You're supposed to start a business. Go ahead and start it.
Wow.
That's good.
That's the 3 takeaways.
1, 2, 3. Boom,
yes.
boom, boom.
Well, Dr. Rhonda, thank you again for joining us. And to our audience, if you have a question regarding this week's episode of The Art of Sculpting Your Business, send it to artofbiz@vbgov.com. Again, that's artofbiz@vbgov.com. Biz as in B-I-Z. Be sure to include your name as we may share it on an upcoming episode.
Thank you for joining us. This completes Series 2 of the Art of Sculpting Your Business podcast. We hope that the information shared will have a positive impact on your business. You can access episodes 1 through 4 at any time. Just go to vbgov.com, search for SWAM Business Office, then select podcast. Be sure to stay tuned for more information regarding Series 3. In closing, we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Virginia Beach Hive, where businesses thrive.